This video is part 2 of starting your Etsy print-on-demand shop. If you haven't created your Etsy account yet, you can find the link in the description for part 1, which covers how to create your account and open your shop. In part 2, we'll be covering all the important shop settings to get in place before adding listings. Alright, so our shop is open. We are here on our shop page, but the work is not over because there are a lot of other settings that we're going to need to go through to get our shop ready to actually list products for sale. And we can start right here on our shop homepage by editing several things here. So go ahead and click on the Edit Shop button up here in the top left corner, and this will take us to an editing view. It will also expand the Shop Manager menu on the left side of your screen. And this is something to become very familiar with because it's got all of the different navigation options you need for your shop. But the first thing I recommend doing is actually editing your profile, your owner profile. So you'll notice in the top right-hand corner of your shop homepage is the icon and your name that displays publicly. And so you want to add a photo here, but you also want to change your display name if you don't want it to be your full name. And you can edit the photo of your profile right here on the page by clicking on the photo icon, but you can also go and edit your full profile down in the left-hand corner, in the bottom left corner where you see your name. Click on the arrow and then select your profile. And so this is your full public profile with information that any of your customers can see. Now, unless your plan is to build a brand around your name, your full name and your public image, I recommend changing your display name so it's not your full name. That way it just maintains a little bit of privacy. All right, so now let's upload a profile picture. This is something that you can use your favorite photo editing software for that you use for your designs, or a tool like Canva. Canva is really great for creating fast, simple little graphics that you need for your shop, including the banner that we're gonna look at in just a second. Now, I'll mention again, if your shop's image, if the brand is about you, then you certainly can use a photo of yourself. But if your shop's image is really not about you, then this can be any picture that you want. It can actually just be a different version of your shop's logo, which is a different graphic that goes on the other side of your shop's homepage, but it can just be a different version of your logo. It can be a nice picture of a flower. It can be a dog, a cat. It can be anything that you really want it to be. I am going to upload a photo of myself for the POD Insights shop here just because my image is already associated with the channel, so that's fine with me. But if you don't want to use your own picture, you definitely don't have to. Now, under gender, you can leave it as rather not say. You can select custom, or you can select male, female. So do what is appropriate for you and whatever you're comfortable with. Now, if you want your shop's listings to appear in local search results, so if a customer searches for products that are local, your products won't show up in the search results if you don't have a city entered here. Now, for my print-on-demand shop, I do have a city entered here, and there's nothing wrong with that. Even though your products are coming from other locations, other print providers, there's nothing wrong with saying that you are based in a certain city because you are part of the business. You are creating the designs, and there's nothing wrong with that. So you can certainly put your city in here. You can't enter your birthday. You can put in the About field. You can put in favorite materials. These are not required fields. I do suggest throwing something in the About field, though. That's kind of general, a little bit about what you like to do. So I always put something in there like, I love creating designs that make people smile, something short, to the point. I don't enter any of these other details. And then including in the profile, you have 3 options here. I do include the shop. I uncheck the options for favorite items and favorite shops, and then hit Save Changes. So now here we go. It's updated your profile, and now we can go back to that shop homepage editor. And the way we do that is under Sales Channels on the left side of the screen towards the bottom, you will see the name of your shop and click on that pencil icon there. And now you'll see that the profile in the top right corner has reflected the change to the name as well as your little profile image. And now what we want to do is upload the other 2 main graphics for our shop, and that's the banner at the top and the shop logo. So at the top where you see banner and the plus sign, you can click on that. The default is set to none. I recommend using the big banner because it's a nice large graphic that allows you a good amount of space. The minimum size for the big banner is 1200 by 300 pixels. So that is the size you can use for your editing software or for Canva when you're creating your file. So select that big banner option and then hit done, and it will expand this area for you to go ahead and add an image. And again, this is something I highly recommend using Canva for because it makes it very quick and easy to create a shop banner with your logo, with a nice background, and with some additional graphics. This is definitely something that you can change. You can change it multiple times. You can use your shop banner to advertise a sale that you're running or a seasonal product. You don't have to leave it the same all the time, but you can also leave it the same all the time if you want to. If you want a simple background with your logo on it, that's also fine. I'm not going to go into how to use Canva to do this in this video because otherwise this video would get really, really long. I actually have a video that I did a while ago about how to create shop graphics using Canva, so I'll link to that in the top right corner and in the description if you want to check that out. Once you're happy with the banner, you can click Save. Now we have our shop banner. And the last one on our main page here is our shop logo or our shop icon. So click on the camera to edit that one. And this is going to be one that you want to be your shop logo. And again, I used Canva to create this. And this one needs to be 500 by 500, or it can be larger than that, but it needs to be a square image as far as the aspect ratio. And so we'll hit looks good. And there we go. We've got all of our shop graphics. We have our profile picture, we have our logo or icon, and we have our banner done. Before we go further, we have a little title field that we can add underneath our shop name. And for this, you just want to add a really short sentence, almost like a tagline for your business. So for me, I'm creating the POD Insights shop. So my tagline here is going to be Print on Demand Insights merch, but you want to add something that's a really short tagline description of your print on demand business. So there we go. Now we have our shop tagline underneath our shop name. Your location will show here if you did set a location. All right, we do have a couple other options on this page, but they're not required for right now. So for example, there is a featured area here. The free Etsy account includes options for a standard grid or no featured area. Once you create some listings, if there are certain ones that you want to show at the top of your shop page, then this is how you would do that. But for now, we're gonna skip over that. You have the option, you always have the option to add a shop announcement that actually shows up at the top of your shop page when you add one. And this would be things like announcing a sale or announcing a new section to your shop, a new type of product, anything that you want a customer to see when they land on your shop page. But the important stuff for now is down further on this page. So shop updates, we don't need to do anything with right now, so we can skip over that. We also don't need to do a good amount of this section here in the About section. I don't have several of these items completed in my own print-on-demand shop, but I do have a few things in this section completed. I just don't have all of it because quite frankly, it's just not necessary. So you don't need to have a video that shows about your shop. You don't need to add photos that tell a story about your shop. This section, I just don't complete. I also don't create a story with a headline and a description, but those things are up to you. If you feel that there's value in adding those things for your shop, you certainly can. They're just not required. For the Around the Web section, if you have your own separate website or if you have a Facebook account, a Twitter account, an Instagram account, you can add links to those separate pages here as well. So I do recommend using that if you have those other sites where your business is showcased. For shop members, this is where you can add yourself as the owner. I know it's a little confusing to have the owner icon in the top and then have separate members. It is a little bit confusing the way Etsy does it, but I actually have myself listed in both places. So if we click on add there, we have to add a photo again. So I will add the same photo of myself that I had in my shop owner. Then in the member name field, you're going to put your name, and I put the exact same name that I have up there for the shop owner. I select owner as the role, and then I go ahead and put a bio in there. Now again, you don't have to go overboard here. You only have 250 characters for your little bio. I like to say something similar to what I said in the owner profile. So in here, I just said, I love to create designs for all types of products that will bring a smile to your face or just brighten your day. Thanks so much for your support, and then save. All right, as we keep scrolling now, we come to the shop policies section. They have an option here for simple shop policies, but I do like to leave these policies in place all separated out because it gives you the control to edit them. So scroll down to the bottom of this highlighted section here and click on edit, and then scroll back up here. Now under shipping, it says see item details for estimated arrival times. And that's exactly what we want it to say for our shipping policies. And for customs and import taxes, the buyer is responsible for customs and import taxes. You're not responsible for delays due to customs. So this is perfect, exactly how it's worded. We don't need to say anything else about the shipping policy. The default options for Etsy payments are something that work for just about every customer because they can use a credit, debit card, they can use PayPal, and we don't need to change any of that. So we can leave payment options as it is. Returns and exchanges though, here's where we're gonna make some changes. So for the print-on-demand business model, returns and exchanges just doesn't work very well. If you think about it, we have no inventory of finished products. So if a customer sends something back to the print provider, they're not going to keep it. They may contact you to ask if it needs to be reshipped, but they're likely just going to discard it because they don't maintain finished products. They make each item to order. And on top of that, if you want the customer to actually return something to you personally, you have to give out your home address or get a PO box or business address to accept returns. And then you also have to consider the fact that you will have to pay for return shipping, which increases your cost. And when we're talking about apparel items, if the customer has tried something on or something like that, it's unlikely that you'll be able to actually resell it. But the good news is you don't have to accept returns or exchanges to be successful with print on demand. There are a lot of ways to work around the fact that you don't accept returns or exchanges and still keep customers happy. In fact, if you want to know more about how I maintain good customer service, even though I don't accept returns or exchanges, check the link in the description for this episode of the POD Insights podcast called Customer Service Basics for Etsy. You can listen to it or you can read through the article on the POD Insights website. So with that said, I am turning off the returns and exchanges option, and I'm going to leave off the option to accept cancellations. Now, as I point out in that episode of the podcast, customers will still be contacting you requesting returns, requesting exchanges, and requesting cancellations, and you should expect to do everything you can to accommodate their requests and make them happy. But because your policy, your official policy, is to not accept any of these things, if for some reason you're unable to accommodate their request and they file a formal complaint with Etsy, then your shop policies become relevant. And if your shop policy is to accept cancellations, but then you tell a customer you don't want to cancel an order because it's already been submitted to your print-on-demand provider, the Etsy admins are going to tell you, too bad, you have to cancel this order for the customer because your shop policy is that you accept returns. So with the print-on-demand business model, it's easier for your official policy to be that you don't accept these things and then still try to accommodate customers when you can. All right, the last section under policies is your privacy policy, and this is about how you will share customer information. Now, if you're in the EU, you're going to be required to have a privacy policy, and there's a little note there about that. If you ship orders to the EU, you are also required to have a privacy policy. If neither of those apply to you, then you're not required to have a privacy policy, but you can still have one. Now, if you need one, or if you just want to have one for the peace of mind of your customers, it's important that it be written correctly. Privacy policies are a legal document, and many legal services would be happy to charge you money to generate a privacy policy for you, but you don't have to pay for one because Allura has created a privacy policy generator for you. Allura is a tool that's made for Etsy sellers. They do Etsy keyword research as well as some other free resources. I recommend that you check out the free Etsy fee calculator on Allura's site because it's very simple to use, and I use it anytime I want to check my profit margins. But I also personally used this privacy policy generator to create the privacy policy for my Etsy print-on-demand shop because I do ship to customers in the EU. Now, this privacy policy generator was created in collaboration with a lawyer in the United States, so it should be fully compliant, and you just have to enter some basic information about your Etsy shop, answer a few questions, and then create your policy. And then you basically just copy that entire policy and come back to your Etsy shop settings when you do add privacy policy, and then you paste the whole thing in, and then you publish it, and you're good to go. All right, so that is it for setting up the appearance and the policies for your shop using the shop editor. There's just a couple more things we want to do before we're ready to start making our listings. The next setting is going to be under the settings option on the left navigation and under info and appearance. Now on this page, you'll find many of the things that we just updated on the shop homepage editor view. So thankfully, we don't have to do all of this because we already did a good bit of it. But there are a couple extra settings here to be aware of. So if we scroll down on this page, towards the bottom of the page, the extra two options here are to set a default message that your customer receives when they purchase something in their order receipt email. The general message to buyers is the one that will apply to us for print on demand. The second option for digital items only applies to, of course, digital items. So if we're not selling digital download files, if we're only selling physical products, then we only need to fill out the first one. Now, this is completely optional, but I do use a couple different messages throughout the year. I have a default message in here that simply says something like, "Thank you so much for your order and for supporting our shop." But I also throw a message in here that says something like, "If you ordered more than one type of product, they may arrive in separate shipments, and please check your order record on Etsy for all details." I also update this message to buyers in the fourth quarter, especially as we get closer to the shipping cutoff timing for the Christmas holiday in the United States. Because around that time, customers are still placing orders and hoping to receive them before the holiday. However, you as the seller want to do everything possible to make customers aware of the fact that they may not receive their order in time for the holiday. So I like to update this message around that time of year to include specific information and a statement that says, orders placed after a certain date are not guaranteed to arrive before Christmas. So once you're happy with that, you can hit Save Changes. We don't need to do anything else on this page, at least not to get started. The next thing to look at is also under Settings on the left navigation. So go to Settings and then select Options. And on this page, you have a few options to be aware of. The first one is how you like to order your listings on your shop's homepage. If you want to be able to customize the order of your listings, then you want this enabled. Then when you go back to the editor view for your shop homepage, that will allow you to drag and drop and move around listings and reorder them the way you want, so you can always keep the listings that you want at the top of your list. If you have this disabled, then exactly what it says there will apply. The most recently listed items will come to the top, and that's okay if that's what you want, but if you want to be able to customize the look of your shop as far as the way listings are organized, then you want to enable this. Custom order requests is the second option here, and this one is totally up to you. If you enable it, a button will appear on your shop's homepage that allows a customer to send you a message and request a custom order. And there's actually a custom order workflow that Etsy has that's built into the messages part of the platform, where you can build a custom product just for one customer and that the rest of the public cannot see. So if you're open to creating custom designs or personalized items that you otherwise wouldn't offer publicly, you can enable this. As far as offering gift wrapping, you're probably going to want to leave this one disabled because most print-on-demand platforms don't offer gift wrapping as an option with their products, and you won't be able to control this really because you don't handle the physical product. So there's really not a way that you can guarantee gift wrapping, and so I leave this one disabled. Gift messages is another important one. This one, if you're using Printful as your only print-on-demand provider, you can leave this one enabled because Printful does allow you to add gift messages to their packing slips. And that is a nice option that Etsy customers appreciate. But if you don't use Printful, so for example, if you use Printify or Gelato, or if you use a combination of multiple platforms, you're going to want to disable this one, because currently other platforms don't have this option for you to add a personalized gift message into a packing slip. So just watch out for that, and if it's an item that's not being fulfilled by Printful, you may just want to message them back to let them know that, unfortunately you can't do a gift message at this time. Listing translation, you can leave that enabled if you offer listings in other countries and you want Etsy to automatically translate. And then you have an option to show sold listings to the public. I just leave that as go ahead and show them, and then your time zone setting is there. Once you're done with all of these settings, hit save. Now the rest of the tabs on this page you don't really need to go into right now, but just know that you do have a vacation mode for your shop. So if you're going away for an extended period of time and you don't want to receive new orders because you're worried that something might happen that you will miss, you can turn on vacation mode and add a vacation announcement, as well as set up a message auto reply for when you're on vacation. And I recommend using this if you are going to go on vacation and not bring your computer and you won't have access to see any messages from customers. Now, if your shop's ordering process is fully automated, which is totally possible with print-on-demand platforms, and you're going to have access to respond to messages like using your smartphone, then you don't need to use vacation mode because you won't really need to do anything more than respond to customers' messages when you're on vacation. All right, so we have a couple more items to look at. Under shipping settings, we're going to go to that page. This is where you have control over your shipping profiles and a couple other settings. You can create a brand new shipping profile from scratch on this page, which you can definitely do, or you can use a shipping profile that gets published from your print-on-demand platform, because they will push a shipping profile to your shop with the listings that you create. So you can either use those, or you can create one and then assign that one to all of the listings that it needs to apply to. So you have options there, but just know this is where you come to edit or create your shipping profiles. The free shipping guarantee is something that you definitely want to take a look at. I have a whole separate video about the free shipping guarantee and what you need to consider before opting into it or opting out of it. So I'll put a link to that in the corner and in the description for you to go check out so that we don't have to go into it in detail right now. Now, under production partners, if you already know you're going to have more than one production partner, like let's say you know you're going to use Printify and Printful for different products, on the settings menu, you would go to that tab, and then here you can add your other production partners. You can also add them one at a time each time you create a listing until you have them all added. So you don't have to do it here. You can do it during the listing process as well. And then the last thing we're going to point out is the Offsite Ads setting. By default, you are opted in to Offsite Ads. And so what this means is that Etsy will advertise your listings on Google, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and Bing to help attract buyers from other websites. They pay for the ad spend and the clicks. However, if somebody does make a purchase from your shop, after clicking on one of these offsite ads, you will be charged a 15% ad fee off of the sale price. And this is another decision that you need to make, whether you want to leave this enabled or if you want to hit this stop promoting my products off-site. Because if you personally have your own off-site ad strategy, like if you pay for Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, that kind of thing, then maybe you don't want to opt into this because you're going to get charged this fee on top of the fact that you're already paying for your own off-site ads. If you don't have an offsite ad strategy yourself and you stay opted into this, the only harm it does is that if you make one of those sales, then you're going to lose out on some profit for that individual order. As long as you have your pricing levels set correctly, you should not be losing money when you make a sale from an offsite ad. And in fact, one of the reasons why I like the Allura Etsy fee calculator that I mentioned earlier is because it gives you the option to add in the offsite ad sale rate. So let's say, for example, we are selling something for $19.99 and it costs us $11.50. When we hit calculate, it tells us we're going to make $6 or a 31% profit margin. But now let's turn on the offsite ad sale rate and we're going to change this percentage to 15%. And now this tells us that our profit would be reduced to $3.74, a profit margin of 19%. So instead of making $6 on the sale of this product, we're going to make $3. So this is exactly how you can tell if you're setting your product prices right, both with and without the offsite ad fee. All right, the last thing for me to address here is just what to do with that listing we created so that we could open our shop. So go to your listing view and you'll see your one listing here that's active. Now, if you are ready to sync your print-on-demand platform to your Etsy account and start pushing listings and you want to just get started with that right away, then you don't need to do anything with this listing immediately. So if that's what you want to do, then just come to the settings gear here and select deactivate, and that will bump it down to your inactive listings and get it out of the public view. And then you can come back to it and reactivate it anytime you're ready to add an actual product to it, because the normal listing process works differently. You'll create your products on your print-on-demand platform site and push them to your Etsy shop, and they'll have most of the information they need already in them. But to use this listing for a real product, we're going to have to update everything manually. I have a separate video all about how to do that I'll link to in the right corner now, and I'll put in the description as well. So if you want to use this listing now for a real product, go check out that video. Otherwise, you can just deactivate it like I mentioned and then move on to the step of syncing your print-on-demand platform to your account so that you can start making listings. Well, that's it. That's all of the settings that you need to have in place to get your Etsy account synced with your print-on-demand platform and start listing products in your Etsy shop. And that's exactly what the next video is going to cover. So hit that link to hop over to the next video and see how to sync your Etsy shop account with your print-on-demand platform so that you can get started.